Hey, it's Texas. I'm meteorologist Sarah Blue, and I'm coming with you with an update on the upcoming winter storm. We're a little less than 24 hours out now, so we're starting to see the forecast take shape a bit more, but I'm coming to you with the latest update. Now, we've had lots of back and forth in what the data is saying. This is our most recent update. We are still seeing extreme impacts expected in parts of East Texas. That includes parts of Smith County out toward Mineola, stretching toward Gilmer. For the areas in purple. Now, if your area is highlighted in purple, the National Weather Service is expecting some widespread closures as well as very dangerous, if not impossible, travel conditions. So please make sure you're staying safe. But all the areas north of I-20 are expecting at least moderate to major impacts from this winter storm that's coming through tomorrow. Now, this morning, we did get a winter storm warning issued by the National Weather Service. That's for the counties highlighted in pink, so up to our north. The winter storm watch, I spoke to you guys about that yesterday. That is still in effect for the counties that are highlighted in blue. Both of these go into effect tomorrow morning and continue through Friday morning. Now, the counties that are highlighted in pink, that's an upgrade from what we were seeing yesterday. Still, though, we are expecting pretty high ice and snow accumulations. In terms of snow, between 2 to 6, even more inches of snow are expected for snow accumulation. Up to ½ inch of ice, but really it doesn't take much when it comes to ice. Once you get that solid coating on there, everything becomes rather slick. But still, if we do get ½ inch of ice, which is on the higher end of things, once again, this is an up to total, so most of us getting less than inches that are unstable, so be prepared for that. Travel will be dangerous or impossible. Please limit all non-essential travel. That way you're staying safe. If you do have to drive as you are a first responder, please make sure that you're just driving carefully. If you can have four-wheel drive in your vehicle, that will help reduce the slickness on the roads, but still, please make sure that you're driving carefully. I'll give you a look at what we're expecting timing-wise. Also, I know that we're live on Facebook as well. If you guys have comments or questions, go ahead and comment them on the Facebook live stream. Once I finish going through graphics, I'll go ahead and check the comments to get to your guys' questions as well. Alrighty, so here we go. Timing-wise, you can keep your eye in the top corner of your screen here for a look at the clock there. This is set to come in sometime early Sunday, or I should say, excuse me, on tomorrow morning. We are expecting snow, sleet, a wintry mix of ice and rain for areas that are under this pinkish color, snow for the areas in blue and white, and then rain. That's what you're seeing in the green. This is set to come in sometime tomorrow morning during the commuting hours. Now, the exact timing of it has been up in the air, but I expect it to be on the roadways during the time you would usually drive to work. This continues all the way through the afternoon. By the mid-afternoon to early evening, that's when we're seeing things become more widespread. And really, it's going to be tomorrow evening through Friday morning that we have that biggest risk window of the most widespread coverage here. We're still tracking a wintry mix, so ice, snow, sleet, and rain for the areas along I-20. Snow is likely for areas out toward I-30, rain for most of deep East Texas. However, even though this is coming down as rain, it may come through as freezing rain. That means it falls as liquid, but it freezes as soon as it hits the ground or whatever surface it hits. That means that it could freeze on power lines, parts of your vehicle, or your home, so be aware of that. That continues into the overnight hours. Now, early in the morning on Friday, so we're talking before the sun comes up, we'll get a little bit of a cooler blast come down toward the Dallas area. That's going to set up our snow line. Our transition zone will shift a little bit. That's what we're seeing in this wintry mix that I've been talking about here. And that's going to bring in some cooler air. That's going to set us up to have a bigger potential for snow toward Emory, Canton, maybe toward Mineola as well on the early morning of Friday. However, most of this is going to begin to clear out of here rather quickly by the time we get to the midday on Friday. We will likely still be dealing with clouds, though, on Friday afternoon. So if we have snow and ice still on the roadways, it's unclear if that will be enough to get that snow and ice to melt. If not, we'll have to wait until the weekend to see that. So in terms of what we're expecting, most of us will see a little bit of everything, but what you need to prepare for mainly for areas along I-30 we're expecting mainly snow. Now, you could get some sleet and rain out of this, but for the most part, we're tracking snow there. For areas that are highlighted in this pink, it's going to be a mix of freezing rain, snow, and sleet. That's the majority of us here in East Texas. The big thing that we need to watch for in this area is going to be the ice accumulating on things. Out toward the south toward Lufkin and Hemp Hill, mostly rain coming down. That could come down as freezing rain, maybe a few pockets of sleet as well, but just be prepared for that. Again, snow mainly up toward areas along I-30. Now, in terms of ice accumulations, we've gotten an update to our latest model runs. Now, this is pushing it farther to the north. Less than a quarter of an inch of ice is accumulated. That's what's expected according to this weather model. It's mainly going to stay up to the north, but I think that we could see it for areas out to the east as well. In terms of snow, I know this is what we were all looking forward to. I know that I'm hoping to get enough snow to have enough to build a snowman, but still, I think that to see that snowmanable snow, it's going to be up toward Mount Pleasant, Sulphur Springs, toward the Arklatex. That looks like our highest snow potential, maybe a few even in North Texas. Along I-20, it's going to be a mix of everything. We could have some flurries coming down, maybe even a few flurries out toward Athens, Henderson, maybe Marshall as well. Deep East Texas, though, it doesn't look like snow is in the forecast for you guys. Let me walk you through what we're seeing right now. Clouds outside. What you're seeing here is some winter precipitation, but it's evaporating before it reaches the ground. That's from the National Weather Service in Fort Worth. They confirmed that earlier today. So nothing really falling there, or at least nothing making it to the ground. It's evaporating somewhere above our heads. All across the Lone Star State, we are seeing lots of clouds stream in from the west. I'm, though, looking out to New Mexico, where they're already starting to get the impacts of these winter storms. I'm going to take you a live look outside. This is in Roswell, New Mexico. You can see a bit of snow on the ground there. I was looking at the camera earlier this morning before the sun came up, and there was a very slick roadways out there. You can see the cars driving slowly. Now, this is the system that is on its way to us. So we could see something potentially like this starting tomorrow and Friday. Make sure you're preparing. Like I said, approximately 24 hours are left until we start to see that less for some of our areas. So today, the day before, make sure that you are adjusting your plans if you need to. That means that if you need to make accommodations, if your child's school gets canceled, make sure you're prepared for that. If you have the ability to work from home, that will be a great idea as well. If you do have to go into work and you're an essential worker, please make sure that you're driving carefully and pack a bit of extra time into your commute so you can get where you're going safely. Bring your pets indoors. It is going to be too cold for them outside. If you don't want to be outside in it, they don't want to be outside in it. And if you have any outdoor animals, so we're talking cows, chickens, pigs, make sure that they have a warm barn to get into. Hay is going to be a good thing, giving them some insulation. That way they're not out in the cold and the wet. Also, make sure that you have multiple ways to receive warnings. One of those can be your phone. Another one could be us here at CBS19. If you have a NOAA weather radio, that is also a great idea as well. Looking ahead to tomorrow, do your best to keep off the roads, and of course, double check on your loved ones. Grandma lives down the road and she's by herself. Not a bad idea to just have her come stay with you guys for a little bit so you can make sure that she's safe in case the power goes out. And of course, if you have any backup generators that you're using during the storm, make sure you're keeping them at least 20 feet away from your home, and be extra cautious if you're using space heaters. Those can cause fires if they're placed near flammable material. So just be cautious, of course, as you're using that. All right, what you need to do ahead of time, make sure that you're checking off these things before the storm gets here. Have supplies for your home and your car. When you're going out and you're buying your groceries, I'd recommend going for non-perishables in case you do lose power. Also, think about what you can buy that doesn't necessarily require electricity for cooking it. So probably not something that you need the microwave for. If you have a gas stove and that's still on, just be prepared for that. Check your smoke and CO2 detectors. That way you're prepared in case you need to stay inside. You'll need fuel for heating sources. Bring your pets inside. I said it. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to keep saying it. Please bring your pets, your dogs, your cats inside. It is going to be dangerously cold for them outside. Like I said, non-perishable foods, that's also going to be a good thing. And make sure that you are locating your nearest warming center. We have a list of those on our website, CBS19.tv. A lot of them are at public libraries, and those are open for most of the daytime hours. Make sure that you know where that is in case you need to go there. or if you have a backup plan, a friend, family, neighbor, if you lose power, that you can go to their home and stay with them until your power comes back on. Okay. Roadways. If you're heading out on the roads today, we're not seeing any travel concerns, at least in our area here in the Piney Woods. TxDOT crews have been prepping the roads with a brine solution. Make sure that you are just staying aware in case you see them. Tonight, we're still not really seeing any travel concerns. Just make sure that you're checking your tire pressure, and of course, double check your tires. If you have worn your tread down, you're going to have lower traction if you do have to drive tomorrow. Also, not a bad idea to fill up your gas tank. I personally am going to do that as soon as we get off of work today. So make sure that you're prepped for tomorrow. We are tracking freezing rain, snow, sleet, rain. It's going to be slippery. We'll have very little traction tomorrow. It's going to make travel hazardous. And as the National Weather Service, or I should say the Weather Prediction Center that's associated with the National Weather Service, what they're saying is it could be impossible in some parts of the Piney Woods, mainly for areas in northern Smith County and southern Upshur and Wood County. So make sure that you are staying safe out there. And like I said, if you can stay off the roadways, that will be your safest option. All right, looking outside, like I said, we are seeing a little bit of wintry precipitation fall up toward North Texas. That's not making it to the ground, so we are good to go for the rest of the day. But I'm tracking our storm system. It's currently located just to the south of Arizona, heading toward the Gulf of California. It's this low pressure system right here. And what that's doing is it's spinning the air in such a way that it's funneling moisture and humidity as well as water vapor. That's all the same thing. That's getting funneled into our area. And that's what's going to pave the way for the storms tomorrow. So make sure that you're doing your preps before any of that gets here. Like I said, it could get here around as early as 6 a.m., as late as noon. So here's what we're looking at for the rest of the day in terms of high temperatures. 43 is your high in Tyler and Longview, 44 in Nacogdoches and Crockett, and then 42 if you live in Mount Pleasant this afternoon. Tonight, it is going to get to below freezing across most of our East Texas cities. Make sure that you are prepping before we get this cold, because it is going to be cold. You don't want to be outside. You don't want to be outside in this, covering your pipes and your plants. All right. 30, that's our low before sunrise tomorrow morning in Tyler. 30 in Henderson, 29 in Longview. If you live in Linden and Jefferson, we're talking about 28. Chilly evening. It is going to be cold. Now, if you're worried about losing power, what I would personally do is if you have any towels or bath towels, blankets, if you lay them along the edge of your doors and your windows, that's going to give you just a little extra layer of protection from the cold. That way it can't slip in under the door. All right, once again, tomorrow, that's when the winter storm is set to get here. Snow, ice, and rain. Potential for that lingering around into Friday. It does look like it clears out Friday afternoon, but we're still tracking clouds, so it's unclear if the ice will really melt or not. It's going to be a case-by-case basis. Not everyone is going to have the same thing, but still just be prepared for that. Saturday, if you're heading out, the roads will look much better once the sunshine gets in here. That will melt the ice and give us smoother road conditions. It may be still a little bit slippery, so just drive carefully, but we're not tracking ice anymore. Sunshine will persist all the way through the beginning of next week. We get a warm up. We are back into the 50s by Monday. All right, so I am going to go ahead and check our Facebook comments. If you guys have any questions, that should go ahead, and I would love to answer them for you, see if we have any questions. Alrighty. I am seeing people are asking about snow in Smith County. That is a possibility. Let me go back to our snow graphic here. It's going to take me a second. Sorry, I have to go back through my graphics. Alrighty, future snowfall does look like we could get some snow in Smith County. Really, the forecast is still up in the air at this point. Hey, Denise, can you switch me to camera 4 real fast? Thank you. But we are tracking that possibility of some snow in Smith County. The highest probability of snow is going to be up to our north. So if you want that snowman snow, that snowball fight snow, that's going to be mainly along I-30 toward Mount Pleasant and Sulphur Springs, as well as toward the Arklatex. Along I-20, we could get some snow, but it is going to be mixed in there with all the other types. So just be prepared for that. I'm crossing my fingers that we could get enough to have a snowball fight here at our station. Alrighty, I'm seeing questions about will school be canceled? It is unclear. It's going to be up to each individual school district on if they are canceling their classes or not. We have not heard of any cancellations just yet. If something does get canceled, we will of course update you as soon as we know it, and we will have a running list on our website, CBS19.tv. Once we know, like I said, you will know. And of course, just be prepared because there's a pretty high probability that we will see school closures tomorrow, especially for areas that are farther north and even farther south where we're seeing some slick roadways. So parents, just be prepared in case you need to have childcare on standby, or if you're able to stay home with your kiddos, be prepared for that. Oh, I am getting a report. Can you repeat that to me, Jesus? All right, Como-Picton ISD in Hawkins County, we just got a report that they are closing for Thursday and Friday, and once again, that is Como-Picton ISD. So we just got that in. My producer is telling me in my ear. All right, I'm seeing more questions. All right, questions about cows. So yeah, if you have cows or any outdoor animals, it's not going to be safe for them to be outside in the snow and the sleet. Like I said, if you don't want to be outside in this, they don't want to be outside in it. So if you have a barn or something like that for them to come into, that is probably going to be the best option. Or if you can go ahead and blanket them, if you have horses, that's not going to be a bad option either. Alrighty. All right, I'm seeing questions. Smith County, when is it going to get here? I also saw some questions about troop. Let me go ahead and go back to our future skycast. I'll time it out for you guys. Let me see where that graphic went. Here it is. All right, here's what we're looking at. And Denise, if you can go ahead and take that full, that would be fantastic. Thank you. So Thursday, very early in the morning, once we transition tonight into tomorrow morning, we're going to see clouds increase. We likely won't see any widespread coverage until sometime on Thursday morning. And that's mainly going to start out to the west. So Dallas is going to get it first. It's going to continue to push into our west, areas toward Canton, Emory, Sulphur Springs, maybe even Palestine. You guys should get it sometime after sunrise, maybe even around sunrise. When it starts to get to Smith County, that's the question I saw specifically on Facebook, that's going to happen during the commuting hours. So we're talking 7, 8, 9 o'clock. I wish I could be more specific with you guys, but really this forecast, this is a tricky forecast. It keeps changing, and we're getting more information as every hour on the hour. So keep checking back with us. That's why we always say keep up to date with the forecast, because we're getting information that we're relaying to you, and it is changing very rapidly. All right, this is continuing into the east. Areas north of I-20, we're expecting snow through the morning. By the time we get to the midday hours and the afternoon hours, we're tracking pretty much all of the piney woods being covered in some sort of wintry downfall coming through. All right, for areas along I-20, we are expecting a mix of that through the afternoon. If you can stay inside, that's going to be the best option for you until this finishes coming through. It's lasting through the night into Friday morning. So it's going to be tomorrow afternoon, I'd say starting around maybe 3 or 4 until around sunrise on Friday that we're tracking the most widespread coverage. Now, it will come through with snow, sleet, freezing rain, like I said, a big mixed bag of everything. What I am looking forward to is as we get into the early morning hours of Friday, so this is after midnight, before most of us are waking up, we could have some snow falling. That snow line could begin to make its way out to the south ever so slightly. That would give areas toward Emory, Canton, Mineola, Jefferson, Gilmer even a chance at seeing a few flurries. Now, I'm not going to promise you that this is going to be a ton of snow, but we might have just a little bit coming down before sunrise Friday. This should clear out of here by the time we get to Friday afternoon. Once again, this is kind of what you're expecting per county, mainly snow for areas up to the north, a mix of everything. Lufkin, though, Hemp Hill, mainly rain coming down. So make sure that you guys are staying safe. All right, I'm seeing a lot of, looks like we have a lot of people with outdoor animals on Facebook, chickens, cows. Yep, make sure you guys are taking care of them. Your dogs and cats, please bring them inside as well. All righty. Smith County, yep, I think we answered that one. Oh, a question from Ethan. What are the ice totals? Let me go ahead and switch back to our ice accumulation. please keep this as a grain of salt with what we're expecting. Like I said, this has been a very up in the air forecast. So if you see it keep changing, it's because we're getting new information in and we're adjusting to give you guys the most accurate data that we can. In terms of ice totals, we will likely see more of it up to the north. So north of I-20, up to a ½ inch of ice is possible. I'm not going to say that we're going to get that full ½ inch of ice, but I expect most of us getting between a little slight slick coating of ice to about a ¼ inch for most of the piney woods. Now, we do have a higher chance of seeing that ice and sleet for areas along I-20. Snow is more likely up to the north. Make sure, that, of course, that you're just driving carefully. The biggest thing, though, with this is as ice accumulates, it'll be on tree branches and on your vehicle and on the sides of your car, anything that's hanging up. If it gets heavy enough, it can knock that down. So specifically old tree branches, be aware of that as it accumulates. If you have a tree branch that's hanging, that's loose, maybe over your car, just be aware of that because if there is enough ice on it, it can weigh it down and knock that tree branch down, and it could impact your vehicle or, of course, your home. So be prepared for that. Like I said, we are getting a decent amount of ice. The other thing is that it could knock down some power lines. So be aware of power outages in your area, and don't be afraid to report it to whatever your power provider is. They're asking for that, and don't assume that it's already been reported. That way you can get your power back on as soon as possible. Now, if you do lose power and it's not safe to get on those roadways, a good thing to do, I mentioned this before, get blankets, towels, anything that you can shove at the bottom of your door and at the bottom of your windows. That will help to keep some of the cold out. And also, of course, throw on layers until it is safe to get to a warmer spot. Again, this is if you lose power and it's not safe for you to get on the roadways. If you have a backup generator, please make sure that you are using it safely. You want to have it at least 20 feet away from your home to avoid any risk of fire danger. And if you have any space heaters, of course, please make sure that you are using those safely and away from anything that could catch fire if you're using them. All right, I'm going to check the chat one more time. Alrighty, I'm not seeing anything else out there, so I really hope that you guys are staying safe and staying warm, and I will have another update for you at noon, which is just a little bit over 30 minutes away. We'll be live on air on CBS 19, and of course tonight our chief meteorologist Brett Anthony will have an even more updated look at the forecast, and I'll be in tomorrow to give you guys the latest on morning, y'all. Stay safe and stay warm, y'all.